Aloha. Here we are with Sally. She's a little gloppy, a little loose, watery, and bubbly. I understand that that's hooch and that you can dump it off or you can just stir it in. So I'm gonna stir it in. I was a little worried about it, so I did a bunch of lookups online and stuff like that, and had John take a look at it. Actually, John had a sourdough starter on the boat when they were on the boat. It was from his first wife's mother. They carried a sourdough starter with them wherever they traveled. How cool is that? Yeah. So here it is. You can see it's super wet. So I don't know how much liquid I'm gonna need, but she definitely needs to be fed and discarded. So I have my little discard container right there. You can see where her line is, and I'm just gonna discard half or about there. Let's see, a little bit more won't hurt. Yeah, that looks good. Let's see. Let's bring her down. Maybe even a little more. I mean, if I'm gonna be feeding her well, she'll grow again, big and strong. Here we go. That looks good. Yeah, that looks good. So the other day, I mentioned that about feedings and doing kilo, which is Hawaiian word for observations, and determining from that what your needs are, which is basically what we're doing today, right? Today we see that it is very wet, very thin, so we may not need as much water or any, but I have to feed her. And this is what's gonna feed her, help them eat, help those microorganisms eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. And a couple other days ago, I mentioned that I was trying to move the time more towards 4:30, 5 o'clock, because at some point I'm going to need to do two feedings. And so some methods, oh wow, that is really thick. Okay, cool. Some methods require double feedings at day 4. Some methods do it at day 6 and 7, and that's where I'm going with. I'm gonna do a single feeding. This is actually day 5. So tomorrow we'll begin my double feeding. So I know yesterday I kept saying 3, but it was actually 4. Today is day 5. Tomorrow will be day 6. So I'm gonna start a feeding at 4:35-ish in the morning. Yes, I am up at that time. And then another one at 4:35-ish in the afternoon. Okay, that's a bit thicker than pancakes. I'm gonna add a little more water. I guess when I did that discard, it took a bunch. And I may have just added a little too much water. That was a bit aggressive of a pour. But yeah, so some people start that double feeding at day 4, so that there's 4 days of double feeding. I'm doing mine at day 6 and day 7. And after day 7, we should see, hopefully, that she is truly active. And some people determine the activeness by doing the float test, where you drop a glop of it, about a tablespoon of it, into a container of water. And if it floats, it's active. If it sinks or disintegrates, then it is not and needs to be continue to be fed. So here we are, nice and pancakey-ish. So she's had 2 days in here. I'm gonna go ahead and move her. 2 days is enough. I know yesterday I said, we want to let her settle in and not have to pack, but I'm gonna move her because I want to see in the, no, I feel like this one's gotten cloudy. I want to see in the other jar her growth. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move her in here and move the rubber band on this jar, loosely lid it, and set her in the corner and let Sally do her thing till 4:30, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then I'll do an AM feeding and I'll record it. I'm not sure if I'll post it as well as the other feeding, but we'll see. But I will record it and maybe take snippets of it for y'all. But here she is in her glorious day 5 state. I will move the rubber band over shortly, lit her up, and put her on the side. So all I did today was add a cup of my flour feed, and half a cup, yeah, actually about a half a cup of water. Now it did look wet and sloshy. Understand that that's hooch. I didn't discard it. I just mixed it in and then discarded half. And here she is. She's gonna go sit and rest for the night after I put the rubber band on. That's it. Day 5 done. Aloha. See y'all tomorrow.